Hello, dear students. Welcome to our English podcast, in which we are going to have a final revision for 301 English course. And I hope that you would benefit from today's presentation. Let's have a look at the vision and mission of our school. Then let's move to the writing topics of 301 curriculum. As you know, we have 6 types of writing topics. The first is writing a formal or informal email. The second is writing a descriptive essay about an environmental issue. The third is writing a for and against essay. The fourth is writing a report. The fifth is describing a line graph, a bar chart, or a table. The final one is writing a film or a book review. Let's start with writing emails. As you know, we have 2 types or styles of emails, the formal and informal emails. As for the email layout, let's just clarify that you have the senders and recipients' names on your exam paper, so you don't need to write your own name or invent a new one. For example, from aliahmed@yahoo.com to jacksmith@gmail.com, and the subject must be short and clear. For example, an invitation, an apology, or accepting, for example, accepting an invitation. You start with the greeting, dear Mr. or Mrs. If you know the name of the recipient of your letter, dear Sir or Madam, and full stop if you don't name the name of your recipient. Simply, you can write hi plus the name of your recipient if you know him well and he's one of your friends. This is in the informal style. You can simply write hi or dear. As for the opening comment, in the informal style, you can start by I hope you had, for example, a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed your holiday. I hope you did well in your last exam. In the formal style, no greetings at all. Stick to the point and tell why you are writing the email. For example, I have received your email in which, for example, invited me to give a talk. I'm writing to invite you to, for example, take part in an event and so on. So, just I'd like to repeat, in the formal style, you don't need at all to write any greeting. Then, as for the body of your email, explain why you are writing your email. I'm writing to explain, to discuss, to confirm, to invite you, to complain. Keep your message always short, simple, and to the subject. As for the conclusion, we have 2 types of conclusions. As for the formal style, we can write, do let me know if, should you have any further queries or questions, you contact me on, for example, and you write your email. If you need any more information, call me, send me a message, or text message me. This is in the informal style. As for the signing off, I look forward to hearing from you in the formal style. See you soon. Remember me to your family in the informal way. Yours sincerely, yours faithfully. This is the formal style. Yours sincerely is used when you know the name of your recipient. If you don't know the name of your recipient, you write yours faithfully. Best regards, all the best, love from, in the informal style. Then let's come to the signature. If you are writing a formal email, you write your position. For example, sales, I'm the sales manager, production manager. In the informal style, you just write your own name or your nickname. Remember, and this is very important, informal emails avoid using contractions. We cannot write I've, You must write I have. We cannot write his. You must write he has or he is. We cannot write where. You must write we are. Avoid using colloquial expressions, the discourse markers like well, anyway, guess what, right? All these are not allowed. Use these discourse markers when you write an informal email. Write a complete sentence or a statement and passive voice. It has been agreed on. I am planning to. Use a polite request. Could you, would you mind, and don't forget always to use please. A model for a formal email. Write an email from 120 words, from 120 to 150 words to Mr. Khalid, who is an expert on cybersecurity, inviting him to give a talk at Al-Iman High School about his experience. Give him details about time, place of the event, the attendees, and the event program. Your name is Noor Ali, the event organizer. As for the heading, to Mr. Khalid 25, for example, at gmail.com, from Noor Ali 2005 at yahoo.com, and the subject here, as I told you, must be clear and short. Just write invitation or an invitation. Dear Mr. Khalid, I attended your lecture on cybersecurity last week at Bahrain Conference Center, and I was really impressed. My school is organizing a symposium about the same subject next week, and it would be our greatest honor to be the guest speaker and give a talk to our students. Then we move to the program of the event. The event will be on, here we define the date, on 15th of January, and the place at the sports hall of Al-Iman High School. The talk would need to last for 60 minutes, 45 minutes for the talk, and 15 minutes for questions from the students. The attendees will be around 100, mostly students and teachers. After the event, we will organize a dinner in your honor. Should you have any further queries, do not hesitate to contact me. I look forward to hearing from you. Then, as you have mentioned the name of your recipient, yours sincerely, Noor Ali. Then you write your position, head of a students' union and event organizer. Now let's move to a model for an informal email. And here we are talking about turning down or refusing an invitation. Your friend Ahmed is inviting you to attend his birthday next week. However, you will be unable to attend. Write an email of apology to him explaining the reason. Your name is Noor Ali. Hi Ahmed. Simply write hi. Hope you are fine. I have just received your email in which you are inviting me to attend your birthday. Happy birthday and many happy returns. I wish I could come. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do. As you can see here, there is a contraction. I won't, which means I will not be able to do. On that day, I will be flying to New York to attend an important meeting. When I come back, I will bring you a nice gift. Happy birthday again, and I hope that you can understand my situation. Call me if you need anything from the US, and don't forget me. There is another contraction here, and don't forget to remember me to all your family. Love from Noor. As you can see here, the style is simpler and clear, and there are, as you can see, there are contractions. Okay. Then, as for the signing off, you write love from. You can write best, all the best, best regards, and you write your name or your nickname. Let's move to the second topic, which is writing a descriptive essay. First, let's clarify what is a descriptive essay. It is an essay that describes one of the environmental issues or problems A good descriptive essay should create a picture in the reader's mind and engage his or her senses. The layout of writing a descriptive essay: we start with an introduction. It might be from 3 to 5 statements or sentences. Introductory sentence plus supporting sentence. Then the thesis, and the thesis means the most important idea in our essay. The main body, 2 or 3 paragraphs about the causes, effects, and solutions. After that, we come to the conclusion, which include summarizing the topic, giving an opinion, suggestions, or call to an action. First, I would like to show you a video to know what's meant, for example, by global warming. Okay, before you start, as I told you, before you start writing about the topic, you should have clear ideas what this topic is. Here there is a short video that might clarify or will clarify what global warming is.
For 2.5 million years, the Earth's climate has fluctuated, cycling from ice ages to warmer periods. But in the last century, the planet's temperature has risen unusually fast, about 1.2 to 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists believe it's human activity that's driving the temperatures up, a process known as global warming. Ever since the Industrial Revolution began, factories, power plants, and eventually cars have burned fossil fuels such as oil and coal, releasing huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases trap heat near the Earth through a naturally occurring process called the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect begins with the sun and the energy it radiates to the Earth. The Earth and the atmosphere absorb some of this energy, while the rest is radiated back into space. Naturally occurring gases in the atmosphere trap some of this energy and reflect it back, warming the Earth. Scientists now believe that the greenhouse effect is being intensified by the extra greenhouse gases that humans have released. Evidence for global warming includes a recent string of very warm years. Scientists report that 1998 was the warmest year in measured history, with 2005 coming in second. Meanwhile, readings taken from ice cores show that the greenhouse gases carbon dioxide and methane have hit their highest levels in the past 420,000 years. Arctic sea ice is also shrinking. According to NASA studies, the extent of Arctic sea ice has declined about 10% in the last 30 years. As long as industrialized nations consume energy and developing countries increase their fossil fuel consumption, the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will continue to rise. Researchers predict that temperatures will increase about 2 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit by the end of the century. What's less certain is what rising temperatures mean for the planet. Some climate models predict subtle changes. Others forecast rising sea levels which could flood coastal areas around the world. Weather patterns could change, making hurricanes more frequent. Severe droughts could become more common in warm areas, and species unable to adapt to the changing conditions would face extinction. Although much remains to be learned about global warming, many organizations advocate cutting greenhouse gas emissions to reduce the impact of global warming. Consumers can help by saving energy around the house, switching to compact fluorescent light bulbs, and driving fewer miles in the car each week. These simple changes may help keep the Earth cooler in the future.
As you can see,
For 2.5.
as you can see here, we had noticed 3 things in this video: the causes of the global warming, the effects of the global warming, and suggested solutions or call to action to this very serious crisis on our planet. Now let's have an essay about global warming. As you can see, we start with the introduction. Nowadays, global warming is one of the most critical environmental problems. It is one of the biggest challenges that our planet is facing today. Global warming is defined as the rise of the average temperature of the Earth. It causes climate changes and leads to a lot of negative impacts on all the creatures. As you know, this includes people, animals, birds, and plants. Then we move to the causes and effects of this phenomenon. There are different factors that have resulted in this phenomenon. The release of the toxic gases, and we have seen that clearly in the last video or the previous video. The release of toxic gases from factories such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide has led to the greenhouse effect in which these gases trap the sun's heat. In addition, deforestation is another factor which happens, and by the way, deforestation means cutting down the trees in forests. Deforestation is another factor which happens because of the excessive cutting of trees in forests. Moreover, burning fossil fuels is a dangerous thing that has increased the emission of toxic gases in the atmosphere. Now let's come to the effects or the impacts. The impacts of the global warming are really horrible. Melting the polar ice caps has resulted in a notable rise in the sea level. It is expected that some coastal cities and islands will sink by 2050. Other factors of the crisis include droughts, hurricanes, floods, and forest fires. These are the effects of this crisis or this phenomenon. Now let's come to the suggested solutions. There are some solutions and actions that can be taken to limit the dangerous effects of global warming. First, deforestation must be stopped and criminalized. In addition, lots of trees should be planted to replace the cut ones in the forests. Moreover, the fossil fuels must be replaced by other sources of clean energy such as the solar and wind powers. Now let's come to the final part. All in all, this is the conclusion. All in all, here just we need to summarize our ideas. All in all, combating global warming is not only the responsibility of governments who should learn to save energy and recycle or reuse the waste material to rescue our planet. Now let's come to the discursive essay or a for and against essay. We start with the layout of a for and against essay. In paragraph 1, you introduce the topic, give a background and history about the issue. In paragraph number 2, express the first attitude and provide facts and examples to support your ideas. In paragraph number 3, express the other attitude and provide facts and examples to support your ideas. In the final paragraph, express your own point of view, show why you chose that attitude. By the way, you can choose the for attitude, the against attitude, or you can use a neutral one. You can say, for example, I am in between the two extremes, and you must mention the reason. Let's have, we have two models, okay? I'm just trying to write the both points of view. Okay, for example, if we are talking about electronic books or e-books, or which means using tablets instead of paper books, I'm going to show the advantages. For example, it makes learning interesting and exciting. As you know, tablets as you know, electronic books makes learning more exciting than paper books. There is a chance for audio and video materials. E-books are easy to carry and you can take them everywhere. It's good for the blind as they can listen. Finally, they can be updated regularly. As you know, the paper books cannot be updated unless you republish the version of the books, but simply you can update the information on your tablet regularly or on a regular basis. Let's come to the disadvantages. Number one, they may break down and need time to be repaired. They always need to be recharged. Some students may misuse them and waste their time. Instead of studying, they can play games, unlike the paper books. And this is very important. There is here a health concern. They might harm your eyes because of the radiation they emit. Studying abroad, we have advantages and disadvantages. Studying abroad can give you a better learning opportunities. You can learn new languages, which will be advantageous when you apply for a job. It allows you to be self-confident and independent. You can learn new useful habits as well. You can depend on yourself. You will get new ideas about other people's lives and cultures. As you know, if you travel abroad, you can open your mind to new cultures. Let's come to the disadvantages. Number one, and this is the most important factor, it's costly or very expensive, as you have to pay a lot of money. Some students feel homesick and prefer to return to their homelands. Some may feel a culture shock and fail to accept or adapt to the new lifestyle. And this is also very important. It takes you out of your comfort zone, as you have to change your habits and routine. Let's come to writing a report, the fourth type of writing composition, writing a report. Let's come to the layout. Number one, you start your report by identifying the person who asked for it and add its subject matter. This report was requested by Mr. So, Mr. Ali, for example, and you must mention his position, for example, the principal of our school, for example, my science teacher or whoever. It studies or investigates, you tell here what is this report about. It investigates, for example, obesity. It investigates, for example, potential risks for any phenomenon and so on. Okay, so you write here who asked for the report and what is the report about. Write what you discovered in the investigations. Here what we call facts and findings. Include the statistics if possible. And here you write that in points, not in paragraph. Then let's come to the final stage, which is with number 3. Before the final stage, we have the conclusion. State your opinions of the facts. After identifying these facts, what you have concluded. State your own opinion of the facts. Experts have different opinions, however, or the majority of people agree that. Here you write your own opinion or what you have included from the previous facts or findings. Finally, we come to the recommendations. It is recommended or advised or vital that. It's a good idea too. And here you write your own recommendation in the report by including your name and position at work. And by that we need your first name and family name, director, researcher, assistant, student, whatever. Okay. This is a model topic. I think that was in 2019. Choose one question only. Write about 250 words. Some experts argue that there is a link between obesity and depression in both directions. Write a report to your school magazine using the notes below. And here, as you can see, they have provided full details about the problem or the subject, information sources, World Health Organization. There are the facts and findings, then the conclusion, and these are the recommendation to solve or cut down on this phenomenon. Let's come to the introduction. This report was requested by Mr. Yasser, the school principal, to be published in the school magazine. It investigates, and here we mention the subject of our topic. It investigates the link between obesity and depression in both directions. It is to be delivered by 15th January. Here you write the due time of submitting your report. Here we started by who asked for the report, where it will be published, what is the report about. It investigates the link between obesity and depression, and when is the due submission date, which will be 15th of January. Facts and findings, and here as you can see, you don't need to invent any information. They are, as you can see, they are written here. Okay, as I told you previously, you need to write them in points. You don't at all need to write full paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. According to the World Health Organization, more than 300 million people live with depression. Depression can cause ill health and might lead to obesity. Number 3, at least 2.8 million die every year because of overweight or obesity. The fourth fact is 38% of individuals with obesity are subject to humiliation from people around them, like friends, family members, or during social events. This increases the symptoms of the depression. In addition, body dissatisfaction may develop symptoms of depression. Now let's come to the conclusion, and by the conclusion here, I mean that what you understood or what you have elicited from the facts which the report has provided. This report provides better understanding of the causes of the obesity. Minimizing depression effects is everyone's responsibility. Now let's come to the suggested solutions or recommendations. The public media should raise awareness of the importance of mental and physical health. We should offer a supportive environment at home, school, or community for those who suffer from obesity. Doctors have to give advice to encourage healthy behaviors such as early sleep, spending less time on video games, and eating healthy food. Number 4, it is advisable that the press and social media address people about issues of discrimination and prejudice against obese people. So we as you know, we need to stop this kind of bullying against obese people or fat people. Okay. Now let's come to describing a chart, and as you know, this is an open topic. We cannot anticipate what is going to be on the exam paper. Here I give you describing. I have here, I'm going to provide two types, describing a chart and describing a table. Let's start with the introduction. We mention what is the chart about. Overview, outline the key features. You have to clarify the highest point and the lowest point with general comment about the figures and or percentage. The body, you describe the changes as precisely as you can. Use data and numbers from the chart. Compare the information. Talk about the differences and similarities with the course of time, etc. Then again, we start with the introduction. What is the chart about? And a good advice, you can use the first statement on the exam paper. For example, this bar chart clarify, outlines, focuses on, shows, whatever. This can be on the first statement on the exam paper. An overview, you outline the key features. You write what is the highest and points, the highest point and lowest point with general comment about the figures. Then, as you can see, we describe the changes, what has come up or what has increased or what has decreased. Finally, conclusion, you write a short summary of the most important remarks in the chart. Here I'm going to give you an example or a model for before that. I'm going to clarify what are the necessary words which identify changes in the numbers or figures. If the figure rise, you can say go up, rise, increase, grow, peak, shoot up, rocket, or soar or surge. And as for the last three words, we use them when the increase is significant. We can use go up, rise, increase, grow, peak. Okay, but here we use, in the normal case, we use shoot up, rocket, soar, or surge when the increase is significant. For example, from 5 to 100. For example, from 1,000 to, for example, 100,000. Okay, so whenever you find a significant change in number, use shoot up, rocket, and soar, and this must be in the past simple tense. So you said the number went up, the number rose, the number increased, the figure grew, the figure peaked, the percentage shot up, rocketed, soared, and surged. So whenever you use the past simple of these words. The degree of the rising, it went up slightly, it rose a little, it increased a bit, or a lot, or significantly or gradually, dramatically or sharply. Okay, these are other words. Okay, so we mentioned here change in the number and the degree. If it's starting from slightly until dramatically or gradually, significantly, describing charts. If we have a downward trend, if the number or the figure is decreasing, falling, you can use go down, fall, decrease, drop, decline, dive, or plummet. And again, I'd like to clarify, we use the past simple tense of these verbs. We say the number went down, the number fell. For example, the percentage decreased, the figure dropped, declined. And as for dived and plummeted, it's advisable to use them, as I told you, when there is a notable or a sharp decrease. For example, it was 1,000, then the next year it has become from 1,000 to 100. Here, as you can see, there is a notable increase, so you can say the number plummeted, the number dived. Okay, let's come to the degree of falling. We start from the subtle change, slightly, a little, a bit. Then when we move to the more severe, we can say a lot, sharply, gradually, dramatically also. Okay, there is a third trend, which is, or third attitude, which is the no change attitude. And here we have some verbs like remain level, stay the same, level off, remain stable, and stabilized. We have also remain steady, and again I assert that we should use all that in the past simple tense. For example, the number remained level, the number stayed the same, remained stable, stabilized, remained steady, leveled off. Don't forget to use the past simple tense of these verbs. Here we have a model writing about the mobile phone brands in Bahrain 15 years ago compared to today. The bar chart shows the approximate percentage of mobile phone brands used in Bahrain 15 years ago compared to today. You can use this statement in your introduction. From here until this full stop, it can be used to start your introduction. These are the instructions. We must not write that. We must not again write that. Summarize the information. These are the instructions by the examiner. Summarize the information in the chart by selecting and reporting the main features. Make comparison where relevant. And as you can see here, 15 years ago in the blue chart, and nowadays in the, you can see these bars in the red, or the red bars, they are today. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 brands: Nokia, Samsung, iPhone, LG, BlackBerry, and Sony. Okay, then let's the bar chart shows the approximate percentage of cell phone brands used in Bahrain 15 years ago compared to today. As you can see, we can use the first statement as an introductory statement. Okay, overall, here you give your own impression. Overall, it can be seen that Nokia was the most used brand 15 years ago, whereas iPhone is ranked top among all other brands nowadays. Here you mention the highest point and the lowest point. Then we start analyzing the data. 15 years ago, Nokia users were 50% of the total buyers of mobile phone data. Let's come back to our, as you can see here, they were 50%, right, exactly, of all mobile users 15 years ago. So the percentage is correct. Nokia users were 50% of the total buyers of mobile phone brands. BlackBerry brand came second with 20%. Let's come back to our bar chart. We can note that yes, BlackBerry was 20%. Okay. Sony came next with almost 80% with the total users. And remember here, when you cannot say exactly how much or how many are the figures or percentage, we use almost, nearly, about, or any other suitable word. So as you can see here, let's come back. We cannot define exactly. This is the Sony. We cannot say is it 17% or 18%. That's why I used almost. With almost 18% of the total users. LG cell phone users were 10%. Finally, Samsung came with only 3%. Today, the situation has completely changed. iPhone is ranked on top of other brands with 40% of all cell phone buyers. Let's come here to see again. Exactly, iPhone, it occupies 40% of all purchases in Bahrain today. 40% exactly. Okay. iPhone is ranked on top of other brands with 40% of all cell phone buyers. It is noteworthy that Samsung users skyrocketed to be around 32%. Let's come to check. Samsung, yes, that's it. Correct. Around 32%. Remember that it was around 3% or something. Then it rocketed to be, and by skyrocketed means that there is a notable change. You can see from here, from only 3% to 32%. This is a notable increase or significant increase. That's why we use skyrocketed. To be around 32%. LG users remained level after 15 years, and by remained level, there was no change. Let's come here to again, sorry. Let's come to LG. As you can see here, the figure stayed the same. There is no change. That's why we used remained level. As you know that we cannot write without referring to the bar chart every now and then. You cannot just write. We need to come back to the bar chart or the graph. After 15, whereas Sony users increased nearly by 80%. Let's come. Surprisingly, Nokia plummeted to be only 3%. As for BlackBerry, it's no longer used nowadays. We have a brand that is no longer used, which is BlackBerry. Then let's come to the conclusion. All in all, we can conclude that Nokia is not sold as before, while iPhone and Samsung are the most sold brands. We have also another model is describing a table. The two tables below contain selected information about the cost of living of Canada and the Philippines. Write a description summarizing the information in both tables. Compare and contrast where relevant. Table 1, we have the average salary and rent in both countries. Second table, we are talking about price of selected items: milk, pair of jeans, transport prices, cinema ticket, water. You can take a snapshot of these because we will need these statistics later. Start again with table number 1. We are talking about salary and rent. Table number 2 tackles prices of selected items, and here he mentioned 5 items. As you can see, in Canada, as you can see the prices here in US dollars, okay, and the Philippines, and we can see the difference between the prices here, Canada and Philippines. Now let's start with the introduction. The 2 tables above contain selected information about the cost of living of Canada and Philippines. Overall, it is clear that although the average salary in Canada is higher than the Philippines, the average prices in Philippines are relatively cheaper than Canada. We can see that the average salary in Canada is around 2,773 US dollars, which is much higher than the salary in the Philippines, which is estimated at only about $330. However, the rent in Canada is also 4 times higher than the Philippines. Let's come back to the table. As you can see, correct, you can see here, yes, the salary is 2,773 around, okay, but you can see here that the rent is 1,300. On the other hand, the average salary in the Philippines is only 330, and the average rent is 355. Okay, you can see that the rent in the Canada is 4 times higher than the Philippines. Okay, the second table compares the prices of some selected products in both countries. The average price of milk is 30 cents cheaper in Philippines. Here you compare. Don't forget always to compare the 2 places or the 2 countries. Okay, use always comparative form. It's 20 cents cheaper in the Philippines. As for transport prices, they are undoubtedly much cheaper than in Canada, nearly 93% less. The cinema tickets are also cheaper, almost 2/3 less. You can see here that. Let's come back. As you can see here, the prices in the Philippines are much cheaper, especially the transport. As you can see, the transport here is very cheap. That's why we mentioned that the transport prices much cheaper, nearly 90% less. The cinema tickets are also cheaper, almost 2/3 less. Water prices are also much cheaper in the Philippines. However, the price of jeans are nearly the same in both countries. Now we come to the conclusion. In general, although the income in Canada is much better than the Philippines, the prices there are also higher. Now let's come to the film review. We give basic information about the film. What is the film name and nationality? What kind of film is it? Comic, action, detective, romance, tragedy, science fiction, horror. We can also say that it is based on a true story. Who are the stars, the main actors, or the main characters? When and where the film produced? You can also add the name of the director of the film, the composer of the music, or so on. Okay, then the second paragraph, the film is set in. It is about, here is the plot of the film. Okay, give a short summary of the story. As you can see, this is the plot. Sequence of events, use the present simple tense. The film is set in America. It is about, for example, a worker who so and so. So you write a short summary. You don't need to write full details about the film. Just write a synopsis, the main points of the film, which tells us or outlines what is happening in the film. And very important, use the present simple tense. Okay. After that, the comment in the third paragraph, comment in the plot. Here you mention the characters and the master scene. The master scene means the most important scene in the film. The plot of the film is curious, and there is an interesting mixture of characters. For example, the character who I like most is So you can also cite the character who I disliked most is, and you write or mention the reason. The master scene or the most important scene of the film was when so and so. Finally, recommendation. Do you advise us to see the film or no? I would recommend that you see the movie and you mention the reason. Okay? Okay. This is a rubric of a film review. Write an online review of a film you have recently seen. Make sure you include the following hints: the film genre, and the film genre means the kind of film. Is it romantic film? Is it an action film? Is it a horror film? This is what's meant by film genre. The settings, and by the setting here we mean the time and place of the film, the main actor or actors, brief summary of the film, the plot, explain why you liked or hated the film, what was your favorite scene. This is the master scene. Use the appropriate adjectives and adverbs. I'll tell you about an online film review. For me, I like a film which is called The Black Tiger. It's an Egyptian film, and I'm going to show you a film review about. Have you ever seen the Black Tiger film? This is a good start to for a film review. Start with have you ever seen? Have you ever heard about? So my film is Black Tiger. It's very famous Egyptian film. Have you ever seen the Black Tiger film? It is an Egyptian film. Here we mention the nationality. It's an Egyptian film based on a true story, starred by Ahmed Zaki. These are the main actors. Ahmed Zaki, Wafa Salim, and directed by the renowned means very famous, the renowned director Atif Salim. Here we mentioned the nationality of the film. What type of the film is it? It's a film based on a true story. Okay, and here are the main actors: Ahmed Zaki, Wafa Salim, and the director, the famous one. His name was Atif Salim. Most of the scenes were shot in Germany. Here are the settings. By the settings, we don't need the preparation. We mean by settings, we mean the place and the time of the events. Most scenes were shot in Germany in 1985. The film was highly appraised by critics. It was highly rated by critics and was a blockbuster. Blockbuster means that it earned a lot of money, or the revenue was very high for several weeks. The plot is a mixture of romanticism, action, and melodrama. This is a general comment about the film. Now let's come to the plot. The film plot is curious and exciting. It tackles the story of an Egyptian worker. As you can see here, I use the present simple tense. It tackled the story of an Egyptian worker named Muhammad Hassan who travels to Germany to start a new life. The hero faces many challenges, including ignorance of the German language. He doesn't know how to speak German, and let me also add that he was illiterate. He could not read or write. This is another thing. He is ignorant of the German language. Racism. He was faced by racism because he comes from the Middle East, and above all, the culture shock. Just after a fight with one of his workmates, in which he crushes his opponent, he has a fight with one of his racist workmates. He was led by another honest worker to train as a boxer by a Greek coach who knows Arabic. The relationship with the coach is an upheaval in the hero's life, who changes his view of life and leads him to be a famous boxer. As you can see, this is the turning point in his life, the relationship with the Greek coach. Another shift in his life comes when he falls in love with a German girl who gives him the momentum to be a successful businessman. And let me clarify that the word momentum means the pushing force. Here in the third paragraph, I admire the hero because he is persistent and doesn't give up despite all the difficulties he faces. The heroine, the female actor, is delicate, affectionate, and can help the hero overcome the difficulties he encounters. The master scene for me was when the hero knows that his country was defeated in a war. This is the 1967 war. Cries hysterically in the streets and decides to fly back home. This is the master scene which I like. This is my own experience about the film. However, he is only calmed down by his beloved affectionate words, which managed to convince him to stay. This is from his lover, which managed to convince him to stay in Germany as she can't leave him. Actually, all the actors played their roles brilliantly. This is my own comment about the film. All the actors played their roles brilliantly, especially Ahmed Zaki. Ahmed Zaki really was brilliant, who is known to immerse himself in his performance in a way that makes you believe that he is the real hero. The music composed by Dr. Jamal Salama was wonderful and has given the movie a special effect. Then, let's come to the recommendation. Haven't seen the film? Watch it now or watch it again. If you have already done, it's really one of the masterpieces in the Arab film industry. And here we have come to our final station. I'd like to thank you so much for watching my presentation. Study well, always be optimistic, and I wish you all the best in the forthcoming exam. Thanks a lot for watching my podcast, and goodbye.